Hello everybody, welcome back to day 21 of Artgust. Today's art prompt is monster. I was doing some cleaning recently, and I found these little monster necklaces that I made a long time ago. I still think these are cute, and I like the concept, but it's been quite a while since I made these, and I think I can do better now. One of the things I feel like these old versions are missing is color variation and depth. Some of them have a smooth ombre from one color to another, but the matte eyes and limited colors make them feel too clean and not realistic. They need more variation. Today I want to make a new little monster inspired by my two favorites. This triangle tentacle guy, whose shape I really like, and this meaty one which has a cool texture and I like all the eyes. So to start out on this new version, I swirled a bunch of different red colors together to add more interest and depth, and to give a sense that this future meat monster is made up of different kinds of viscera. Muscle, yes, but also fat and sinew. It also makes it look like the monster has more texture. By following the direction of the striations of color and adding actual texture, the color differences feel like areas of recessed shadow and elevated highlight. Since I'm making an upgraded version of this old project, I'm thinking we'll make this little guy into a necklace too, just like the other ones. To attach the tentacles to the body, I'll need some sort of loop on the end of them. I have these little flathead pins that I put loops on the end of. I figured the flatheads will help keep the wire inside of the clay once it's baked. If it was just a straight wire, it would fall out pretty easily. We want to really seal those in there. Alright, on to the eyes. I knew from the beginning I wanted the shape of the eyes to match the direction that the stripes of color are going, to make it look like the eyes are almost just peeking out through gaps in the flesh. I did decide to make the eyes protrude a bit from the base triangle to both help them pop and to add another extra layer of texture and depth to the piece as a whole. Adding the pupils will come later, but we will add the irises now. I wanted a color for the irises that wasn't the same as the background, but I didn't want a color that was so different that it would feel out of place, so I went for a burnt orange color. There's a faint amount of orangey brown in the base triangle, and orange is near red on the color wheel, so it ties in nicely. But also it's different enough from most of the red to not blend in completely. To make the tentacles interesting, I made them all twirl into different shapes from one another. I tried to think about them in a 3D space and not have them completely flat, but also tried to think about how they would lay flat when being worn as a necklace. And what sort of tentacles would these be if I didn't put suckers on them? Honestly, I just thought it'd be fun to do, and it adds another piece of visual interest. I have plans to give more of a stringy texture to the tentacles as well, like the main body has. On the first tentacle, I started adding the suckers first, but I really should have done the texturing first so that I didn't accidentally smash all of the little tiny pieces that I was adding while moving the whole tentacle around. Luckily, they ended up being easy to fix, so it wasn't too big of a deal. I did opt to texturize the other two tentacles first, though, before adding the suckers on. Almost forgot the loop at the top to turn it into a necklace. Alright, now that the base pieces are formed, we need to harden them. To do that, I have my handy dandy toaster oven. We'll just cook those right up. And we're now finally to the point of adding pupils. I could have tried adding the pupils with polymer clay, but I figured it'd be easier to just do a dot of paint, so that's what I went for. If I wasn't planning to seal in the eyes with UV resin, like I am planning to do, I might have gone for clay, but since I'm sealing them in anyway, paint will hold up just fine. The purpose for sealing in the eyes with UV resin is twofold. The first is that it seals in the paint, as mentioned, and the other is that it makes the eyes shiny. Eyes are wet in real life, so adding a gloss to the eyes will help them feel more real and alive. We're not stopping there though. Meat is also wet, so let's add some shine to the main body. I didn't want to make it evenly wet looking, because that would just circle back around to the issue of the whole piece feeling the same. So instead I added streaks of goo following the contours of the base. The goal was to make it feel more like there's liquid oozing out, or that it's been splashed on the creature and it's coalescing in the divots and folds of the flesh. The UV resin I used was a mix of a dark orange color, which, when put on top of the red, looked a lot like blood, and of just plain clear resin, which let the colors of the clay themselves shine through. I cured all those pieces under a UV light, and then I actually let them all sit on my windowsill while I was away at work for a few hours to let the sun cure them completely. I found that if I don't let UV resin pieces sit for a while in the sun, it can end up a little bit tacky, which means it'll lose its gloss and end up with all sorts of fingerprints and cat hair stuck in it. Now that we've got all of our pieces, it's time to put them together. I grabbed some tiny jump rings to attach the tentacles, and I found a black cord to loop the top loop through. And it's all done! I think this is a definite upgrade from the original inspiration, although I do still find the originals quite cute. I had so much fun making this thing, it was strangely satisfying to sculpt. I was thinking about it while I was working, and I thought it might be fun if I put like a custom monster listing in my shop, so people could get their own personalized monster too. Like, you'd get to pick colors and shapes and eyes and appendages and things, and then I'd make it for you. What do you think? Is that something that would interest you? Let me know. Thanks for hanging out while I worked on this project. This project was part of an ongoing challenge I've set up for myself of posting an art project a day in the month of August, which you can follow along with if you'd like to. I do also want to let you guys know that I have now caught up with myself in videos, so I might fall behind in the next couple of days, but one way or another, you guys will be getting 31 videos, even if they end up being a couple days late. So hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow, but if not, you can expect the next video very soon. See you then! Bye!